Hi everybody. Um, I had a incident. I'm turn this off, case. I had an incident with somebody the other day. A young lady looked at me, and she was like, "Your skin is so pretty. What do you use on your skin?" And I told her, I said, "Soap. I use soap. I just wash my face with regular soap." And then she said, "You ain't got to gatekeep that." So I didn't know what gatekeep meant. So when I got home, I asked my daughter. I said, "What is gatekeeping?" And she told me what it is. First of all, why would I gatekeep something like that? That's just crazy. I won't do that. So in case she's watching, I'm going to show you. I honestly use ivory soap to wash my face. I have one open already, so this is exactly what I do. I come in here, put soap all over my face. Turn the hot water off because I just like rinsing my face in cold water. And I prefer to wipe it with a white towel. I just prefer that on my face. And it's just as simple as that. Bar soap, what I use for my whole body. I don't I don't use a lot of other different stuff because I feel like ivory soap is like the purest soap that you can use for your body. And I used to try all that other stuff. How people used to tell us, wash your face in Noxzema and all that kind of ignorant stuff. Now I tried that and I had so many bumps on my face. I wanted to find the person that with the ingredients. And ivory is like one of the first soaps that we ever used. Didn't nobody get confused until we saw that commercial that we wasn't fully clean until we was zestfully clean. All of that's garbage. Ivory is a very pure soap, and it keeps us. A lot of these other soaps take your pH balance off and everything. You don't go through that with ivory. It's fresh and it's clean. You want to smell good, get you some perfume. That ivory is a fresh, crisp smell. You do smell clean. But what I wanted to say about this gatekeeping stuff, I'll pull this up here just a little bit in case y'all can't. I don't people that do stuff like that, from what my understanding, what my daughter said, is just trying to keep something that you find out that's good away from somebody else. You have to be a certain type of evil to sit there and wanna and knowing you something good that you come across, and you don't want to share that with other people. Even back in the Bible days, God told people that had money, if you have a lot, give to somebody that have none or very little. If you have an overabundance, I don't even people like that are a different type of evil that'll sit back and keep something to themselves that's good and then blow up with it and all that. Then you have the people that's weak and be like, I ain't think you was gonna want it, or I ain't think you wanted to do that. And they knew you wanted to do that. That's why they didn't tell you. They just didn't want to be you to be better at it than they are. And then those people, gatekeepers, they are some of the most miserable people in the world. And I'm gonna give you a simple thing. Rich people. We all know rich people be the most miserable people in the world. They always killing themselves because they stingy and they selfish. And that's just not, what we supposed to be as a community, as a people. We're not supposed to do that. I would never, ever, ever, ever have something good and just keep it to myself. I don't do stuff like that. There's a one thing to, not tell everybody in which direction you're going in because you're afraid that they will, try to keep you down from it. But those people. That's no excuse. Those people. Some people you can't tell everything to. But that's a whole different scenario when you find something good and you tell somebody about it. That's a whole different scenario because you want everybody to be blessed. Trust me, ain't nobody gonna take your blessing. What God has for you is for you. However, it's gonna blow up, it's gonna blow up. It's enough money out here for everybody to eat, So I would never do something then so simple as to tell somebody that if I found something that had my skin so pure and all that kind of stuff, I tell you. But literally, I use ivory soap for my whole body. That's what I use. That's why I don't stink. That's why my skin is smooth. That's why it's just the way it is. That's what I use, and I would never, like I said, never do anything like that to anybody. To keep something good from anybody, and don't you do that. Don't do that. You will find so much more blessings coming your way if you learn to not be selfish and stingy. God don't bless stingy people. He really don't. So no, I don't gatekeep anything, especially stuff that's simple like that. All right, see y'all.